Review copy provided by PlayStation. First released on the PlayStation in 1998, MediEvil is fondly remembered and considered a classic by many. Now, 21 years later, developer Other Ocean has been enlisted to bring new life to the long-dormant franchise, with a PlayStation 4 remake that wonderfully updates the visuals, music, and controls, while remaining faithful to the PS1 original.
We hopes it does well.
Rather than presenting a completely reimagined take, the game's core design remains largely the same as the PS1 version. Its updated visuals look great while retaining the distinct style. The orchestral soundtrack has been re-recorded for greater fidelity, and much of the original game audio has been updated and enhanced. It also improves some issues found in the original, like its bad camera and controls. Even though it would have been nice if it included some bigger changes to really make it stand apart, this more direct approach is still impressive. The story revolves around Sir Daniel Fortescue, a knight that was mistakenly given credit for slaying the evil sorcerer Zarok, when in fact, Sir Daniel was killed at the start of the battle. Now, a century later, Zarok has returned to spread terror across the land of Gallowmere, and his dark magic inadvertently brings Sir Dan back to life. Given a second chance to prove himself, Sir Dan sets out to defeat the evil sorcerer. At its core, MediEvil revolves around going from level to level, battling foes and collecting items scattered throughout each of its locations. The areas you explore along your journey stick to the game's spooky theme, with locations like graveyards, mausoleums, and pumpkin patches. The levels themselves are pretty simple and definitely feel like a product of their time. However, they're also very distinct from one another. For instance, the Asylum Grounds is a hedge maze where you need to solve 4 riddles, while in the Sleeping Village, you need to avoid killing the townsfolk as you go from house to house. There are a few weak areas along the way, but for the most part, they're all still satisfying. Combat is straightforward and feels very loose. Most encounters break down into spamming basic attacks, hoping to kill the enemy before they hit you. Weapons also have a charge attack, which can be helpful at times, but using your normal attack is usually more efficient. Shields allow you to block enemy attacks, but they can break if their durability reaches 0. Overall, the combat is decent, but its roots as a PS1 game are unmistakable. There are a handful of bosses to take on as well, like a stained glass demon, a giant ant, and a massive pumpkin. While these encounters change up the gameplay, they're not that exciting or engaging, and usually just end up feeling like clumsy scuffles. Each level also has a chalice to collect. To get the chalice, you not only need to find it, but you also need to kill a certain number of enemies to actually obtain it. Once you grab it and finish the level, you'll be transported to the Hall of Heroes, where you're rewarded with new gifts like weapons, money, or healing items. It's completely optional, but the weapons you receive here are so good that collecting every chalice feels almost mandatory. Thankfully, they're not too hard to get. Another set of collectibles comes near the end of the game when lost souls begin to appear in new and old areas, giving you tasks to complete, like finding a wedding ring. These are all fairly simple, but completing each one adds some welcome replayability to the older stages.
I have never met a real hero!
MediEvil does a good job of addressing some of the problems found in the original while sticking close to the source material. The updated visuals and audio are great, and it's more pleasant to play thanks to the improved interface. Even though some aspects can feel dated or way too straightforward, journeying through this dark and spooky world is still satisfying. Whether you're a fan of the original or enjoy other action-adventure games of the era, MediEvil is a solid choice.
It must be 500 years since you were last on my ferry, and you don't look a day over 400. Now, here we are.
Easy Allies reviews are made possible by generous viewers just like you. If you like what you see, check out patreon.com/easyallies to help us make more. For just $1 a month, you can gain access to weekly updates, spoiler discussions, and exclusive shows. Review copy provided by PlayStation.